Hello, hello. Let's see if this is going to work. Man, oh man, I had to shut down Facebook, or my whole phone. I had to shut down my whole phone to even get the live button to appear. Maybe this is going to work, but the camera angle's way off. Hold on. Fighting with the camera again. Okay, listen. Folks, we are going to get it together tonight. I could move this out of your face. My little glue thing here. Okay. We're going to do a junk journal. We are. Hello and welcome. If I can just get this whole setup to work. And let's see. I'm not sure that I love that you can see the iPad where I read the comments from. That would be a little distracting. So let me see if I can move that away from your eyes. Let's get it out of screenshot here. You guys, I have been fighting with my camera, my little camera holder, for too long now. It's just frustrating. But hello. Welcome. Hey, Kimberly. Thanks for saying hello. Hi, Tammy. There's Candy Marshall. Hello, friend. And Don is here. Text BFF. Hey, Jennifer. You guys, I got some more Amazon packaging that I'm going to turn into a junk journal. What do we think of that? What do we think? Janet says, happy Tuesday. Happy. It's late night crafting night. And we're going to make a junk journal. Hey, Marcia and Virginia. And there's Brenda. Hello, Tina and Mary. Hello, Miss Mary. Thanks for fluffing the nest. That means she did this. Thank you for being a love. Hey, Cheryl. And there's Jeannie. What's a junk journal? It's turning junk into a art journal. You don't know this yet? We're going to show you tonight, friend. We are going to show you tonight. So sometimes when I order stuff from Amazon, sometimes things like this, you know, like little stickers and stuff, sometimes they come packaged in these white boxes. You would throw it out, right? Well, we're going to turn it into a journal tonight. I got some really cute stuff in the mail today, by the way. I took the sticker off here because I didn't want that showing underneath the cover. We're going to turn this into a book. Didn't want that showing under the cover, but it's still sticky, so I'm not sure we're going to make this work somehow. Hey, Natalie. How are you? Hey, Ann in North Carolina, and Janet is here. It should be an adventure. Always an adventure, right? Always an adventure here at the Comfy Nest when we're making junk journals, Janet. Hey, Carmen. Aw, Carmen, you're hanging out with me all over. I love it. Hanging out with the Napkin Lovers Club group. I love it. Yay, Cindy says I've started collecting things. There's so much we can make journals out of. Or add to our journals. You don't even have to make a full journal. You can just add to your journals with some of the stuff that we get. Hey, Glow. And there's Tammy Parker. Thanks for fluffing the nest. Terry Brady is here. All right. We got some folks coming in. Okay. So let me grab my paper cutter. I'm also going to grab probably a utility knife and a ruler. I'm running out of room on my table, but that's okay. We're going to make this work. I love this utility knife. I just changed the blade, so it's nice and sharp. I want to get this cut down. So basically this will become a book. And I don't need any of the flaps. Those will all get taken off. And when I look at the binding, the sides, this one's in perfect condition. This one's got a little crushed in the mail, got crushed. So I'm going to cut the crushed one off and we will keep this one. So this will become the front of our book, if that makes any sense. Now, generally, there's a seam. The seam is actually on the good side. Generally, there's a seam where they have glued this whole thing together. And that's where I would normally take it apart. And then I would use this as the binding, the edge of the book. But because this is a little bit squished, I think I would prefer to use this as our binding. So I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and cut. I'm going to cut this down because we're going to get rid of this. Okay. And then this will become our book like this. See, it's going to open and close like that. So this is where that seam is. So I will reinforce that. Let me get my little bit of glue here. I'm already starting with the glue, girls. We got the glue out. Make sure that you say hello. Let me know where you're coming in from. Hey, Donna. Thanks for fluffing the nest. Thank you for sharing. It helps us so much. I feel like my reach in terms of meeting new people has been down dramatically lately. So if you can hit that share button, it's going to do a couple of things, actually. If you hit share and you put it on your own feed, it's going to put this on your own feed so that if you want to go watch it later, finish watching it. Some of you will go to bed before we finish because it's late night crafting. So that means it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 9 o'clock here in North Dakota where I live. So you can find it later and finish watching it. It also will introduce me to some of your friends. So I appreciate that so much. If they're not interested, they're just not going to watch it. Most of your friends probably won't even see it, just the way the algorithm works. But if there's a chance that somebody will see it, it really helps us a lot. Hey, Debbie. How are you? Hey, Donna. Thanks for fluffing the nest. Terry wants to learn. Well, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, Brenda Edwards. Hello, hello. Glad to see you back again. Welcome. Hey, Phyllis. Thanks for fluffing. Yes, Glow. It is always an adventure. Rita Sprinkle. Thank you for that, my love. Thank you, thank you. Okay. So I don't need any of the flaps. You can either cut them off with scissors. You can cut them off with your rotary cutters. You can cut them off with whatever you want. I guess I'll just do this. It is actually, it is so much more accurate if you would use a ruler and a cutting knife. You will get a much more accurate cut. I really have trouble seeing this, you guys. I'm working on a glass table. So anytime I put anything down, it gets really loud. You're going to get a much straighter cut this way than if you use a scissor. Most of the time, I don't, it doesn't matter much to me. It just doesn't matter. I don't get real worked up over this. It's a piece of junk that would have gone in the garbage. I'm going to make something super cute out of it. I know it'll turn out cute, whether or not, if I'm a millimeter off in my cutting skills, it's still going to be cute. So I don't get worked up over that stuff, and I encourage you to let go of that, like that need for perfectionism, because it really does take the joy out of it. It just really takes the joy out of trying to make cute things. Seriously, if you're doing this for a hobby, if you're not getting paid for it, if it's not going in an art museum, even if it is going in an art museum, find the joy of creating and let that be your goal, is the joy of creating, not perfectionism. Because nobody's measuring. Like, you show somebody your project, nobody's measuring it. Nobody's taking out a level and making sure that everything is exactly the way it needs to be. I promise you this. I promise. Okay, here's our little book. We're already started. There it is. Not worried about this. Not worried about this. It's going to get covered. So that's no problem. I actually am thinking about making it a little bit smaller. Let's see, how big is it, first of all? It's 7.5, a little more than 7.5 by a little more than 5. I'm going to cut this down to get rid of this notch a little bit. So I'm going to cut it and make it, I'm going to cut like a 1/2 inch off, I think, to make it 7. So I'm using my table, the markings on my table. If you've never heard me explain this, these tables are great for this. These cutting boards, this is glass, but you know, the ones that are kind of foamy, and they're called self-healing mats. Those are fabulous too, but they have the grid marks on them. So what I'll do is I'll line this straight edge up with this straight line. I'll also line up this straight edge with one of the lines on the table. Then I will use my ruler. Whoops, it budged a little. I will use my ruler and I'll line it up with this line here, number 7, at the top and at the bottom. I'm going to line this up with number 7. Learned this in quilting, you guys. It comes in really handy when you're trying to craft and create. I'm going to hold everything down really strongly. The problem with this table, of the glass table, a little bit, I will say, is that things do want to budge. So just take your time and go slow. But I'm going to cut this off. Now that's where that double layer is. So you can see I was a little bit slower right there. It's like 2 layers of it. I'm going to come down here and do this part. It's going to get rid of most of that notch. And see, and made it 7 inches instead of 7.5. And then do we want to cut down? I think I'm just going to leave it at that. All right. Amazon packaging. We're going to turn it into a little book. We are going to turn it into a book. Yes, exactly, Mary. Just enjoy the process. Don't get so worried about things being perfect. Just takes all the fun out of it. Cindy, do you have this knife? I love this knife. Got it from Hobby Lobby. You just pop out the blades, like you twist it off with a needle nose plier to get a new one. It's just so handy. I love it so much. And it's little. No, Donna, it's from Hobby Lobby. I got it from Hobby Lobby. And I got it online. I just put in craft knife. I went to hobbylobby.com and put in craft knife. Maureen says, I love when, oh, Maureen, we have your happy mail. She says, I love when you make books. You got to make one soon. Oh, Maureen, your happy mail is still sitting here. Which Maureen is this? Hold on, let me see. Maureen, you just reminded me. I have happy mail for Maureen. Oh my goodness, you guys. Hey, Cindy Peterson, I see you. Where's that comment? Maureen, I won't show your address, but look what I got. I got mail from Maureen, and I haven't opened it yet. Do you guys mind? Let's open it because she's here and I'm here. I'm going to grab a different utility knife if I have it close by. I don't. Okay, I'll just use the one I have on hand. I have a bigger one that would be better for boxes. Oh my gosh, we're going to open this. Happy mail. How could I forget? I'm so glad you're here because it reminded me. You know why I forgot? I put all the papers that I'm going to use tonight underneath or on top of the box. So even though it was right next to me on the desk, I'm having trouble opening it. I'm so excited. It's like Christmas. I love when I get happy mail. Oh, it's so exciting. Oh, look at the cute little card. Oh, look at how sweet this is. I love this little envelope. We've got to reuse it, right? We're going to reuse it with a cute little butterfly card. Let's see what it says. A little something to say how happy I am that I found you. You've opened up new craft doors for me. I love being a crafty chick. Well, I love, Maureen Peterson, that you are one of our brood over here, our crafty chick community. I'm so excited to get mail from you. What a treat. I don't even know what's in it, and it thrills me so much. And I've been saving these cards, you guys. I'm going to write the date on the back. And I will save this card because it means so much to me when you guys, I don't get happy mail very often and it just thrills me to death. It just makes me so excited. And actually, I've been putting some of these in one of my junk journals, like kind of like storing them in there so that I have a place for them. All right, let's see. Oh, could it be a mug? Could it be a mug? There's something in between, but I gotta see what, I gotta see. There's something there too. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Look at all this junk, you guys. Look at all this paper. Glorious paper. I don't like throwing it out. I'm going to throw it on the floor. I'll see if I can reuse it. If nothing else, I'll use it for scraps. You know, I want to make sure I don't miss anything in there. Oh, wait, maybe there is something else in there. It felt heavy. Hold on. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not throwing anything out that is important to keep. Okay, let's see what she sent me. Oh, it's a nice big coffee. I drink coffee all day long. Oh, look at how sweet, you guys. Tweet, tweet. Look at the little cheerful bird with the little flower, the daisy next to her. Oh my gosh. Or is that, it looks like a black-eyed Susan, but not black in the middle. Oh my goodness, Maureen, you know me with my coffee all day long, right? This is like an all-day thing for me. I really shouldn't, but I do drink it even after lunch. I really should stop. Look at how darling that is, you guys. I'll put it this way so you can take a peek at it. And there's something in here, I'm sure. I see something blue. What a cute little tin. Give it to God. It says, God is within her, she will not fail. I love that phrase. It's a little prayer box where you can write your little prayers down. And look at the precious little pencil with an eraser, mind you. It's a tiny little mechanical pencil that fits in the prayer box. Okay, Maureen, I've got to find a way. I love this so much. And thank you, thank you. I love it so much. I'm going to find a way to keep this in my kitchen area where we spend most of our time as a family so that I can get the family to start adding prayers to the box. Because I love this idea. I love it, love it. They can just keep adding things, and then we do pray together as a family at night when we have supper, and we can add our prayers to that. It's a, oh my gosh, what a sweet, sweet package of happy mail. Maureen, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, my sweet friend. I love both of them. They will be cherished. Cherished. I'm going to put this aside a little bit further away so I don't knock it down and break it. Because if you know me and crash, boom, bang, things fall off the work table all the time. Oh, I'm so excited we got to open it. That little prayer box, isn't it adorable? The tin, Lori. That's a good idea. Deb says magnetize it to the refrigerator. Hey, Katrin, my sister's here. Hey, Kat. It's a crafty chick mug with a little yellow chick, which is the emoji I use all the time when I'm texting you guys and all that stuff. It's a crafty chick mug, Stephanie. Isn't it sweet? Yes, everybody agrees, Maureen. We are crafty chicks. Everybody agrees that it's just darling. It's absolutely adorable. Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Now, that happy mail certainly did make me happy. Okay, let's see if we can get this right in the middle for you guys. Okay. We are going to create this. We're going to make a book. And I was going through my papers because now I'll create a signature on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to cut down papers. I'm going to sew them into the book. I usually sew, I don't always sew, but I usually sew things into the book. I am going to add, actually I got some new tape today and I haven't had a chance to use it. Let's just see something here. I'm going to add some tape there, and I would usually just use my artist tape. I'm just going to look at this. This is Mending Tissue. It's for repairing tears in paper, so it's apparently very thin, but I haven't quite figured out how you use it because it must have backing on both sides because I haven't run into anything sticky yet. You see, it's all, I don't understand how this tape works. I just got it today in the mail from Amazon. You guys, I need my readers, and sometimes when we're together like this, I'm going to turn on, I have a little lamp next to my table, and I'm going to turn it on real quick and just see. I need it to my eyes need it to see, and sometimes I just wonder if it makes it too bright for you guys. Yeah, see how the bulb is right in your face, so let's get that off of there. But I can at least try with my little tweezers. I want to put a little piece of white tape here just to reinforce that seam. The seam wouldn't normally be there, but it is there because I chose that side of the book to use as the binding because the other side was ripped. Hold on a second. I don't know how this tape works. Very interesting. All right, I got it peeled off. It is like super thin. I'm going to use it. We're going to use it in here and just see. It is like paper. It doesn't feel plasticky like tape at all. It feels more like a paper. Whoops. Oh, and it tears like a paper, like tissue paper. This is very fragile. I'm just going to push that in. Wow. You can hardly see it. This was the part that up here that was like the beginning, so it wasn't real neat looking. But that's great. I like that because you can hardly see it, but it feels a little bit like tissue paper. It's not like regular tape. It's interesting. All right, that will get used quite a bit, I think, in my book making adventures. So I'm glad I grabbed it. All right, so let's see. I'm going to check comments quick. Hey, Joyce, how are you? Yeah, it's a box that I got some, embellishments and stuff in. And I'm making it into, we're going to make it into a journal, like a little art journal, junk journal. And I just wanted to reinforce that seam right there. normally I would have taken the other side, wouldn't have a seam, and I would have taken it apart from the seam, but because this side had been, this side of the box was a little crushed, I didn't want to use that for my seam. Okay, so we got to get a signature. I'm only going to fit one. This is a 1/2 inch. I already measured it just to know. It's a 1/2 inch binding, like edge of the book. So I'm going to put one signature in there. And so the question becomes, how many pages do you want to put in the signature? So I was looking through my papers and trying to figure out, what do I want this book to look like? The cover is really fun to do. The pages on the inside are really fun to do. I love covering it. So I grabbed a bunch of my papers, and I found in my stash, these are, does the packaging say anything? Probably not. From Amazon again, 50 sheets of rice straw paper. I found it on Amazon and thought I would buy it because it's fibrous and they're all different. Every single one of them looks a little bit different, and they have specks of fibers in them. Like, they're beautiful. They're really beautiful, and I thought this could make a really beautiful signature if I used this paper. So I have that paper. I also have this paper. This is also from Amazon, you guys. Big Amazon shopper here. I don't live anywhere near, I live 90 miles from all the hobby stores, so I do a lot of online shopping. But this paper is double-sided decorative scrapbook paper, basically. It's scrapbook paper weight, like the thin paper weight, but I love that it's double-sided. And it's the same size, I think. Nope, the rice paper is a little longer, just a little bit longer. So we're going to be cutting it down anyway, but this could also make for some interesting pages in the journal. And you can see I've got like several of each design. I really like that one a lot. Because it's double-sided, it'll be decorative on both sides, which I really like too. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is do the cover. This may become part of the signature. I'm going to put it aside. I just wanted to show you what I pulled aside. I think I'm going to use one of these for the cover because it's just so beautiful, you guys. And it's kind of transparent. So when you put that white packaging behind it, it really, really showcases the fibers of this paper. Yes, it's pinned to the top of my page, Mindy. If you go to the top of my page, you'll find my link tree. And my link tree link has all of my links in it, and my Amazon store is in there. Isn't that fun, Jimmy Lou? Look at these papers though, Jimmy Lou. Some of them are pink. Some of them have green. Some of them have gray or blue. This one's more of an orange. This was a pack. I think it's I think I said it's 40 sheets, right? But they all, ooh, look at the pink one. I think I'm going to stick, oh, this one's, Jimmy Lou, I know you love blue. This is blue. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay, I think I'm going to stick to browns. This looks like it has flower petals. I think they're leaves. This looks like a leaf to me. These look like leaves. I think I'm going to stick with very, very much neutral brown colors, browns. This one has like strings and it looks like blades of grass in it. How fun is that? Do you see one that you like? This one has itty bitty stems. Itty bitty, teeny tiny little stems from florals in it and a flower petal. I like that one a lot. Love the blue. Yeah, this is really, really thin, you guys. It's thinner than the mulberry paper I have. I don't have a ton of experience with mulberry paper, but this is much thinner, it feels, than the mulberry paper I have. Okay, so I have two that I like. I like these two. And actually, I need to put one on the inside and one on the outside, probably. So look at those, you guys. It like will fit perfectly to cover this book. Just perfectly. This part is still a little tacky or sticky, but we're going to work around that. That's not going to be a problem. It just fits so dang perfectly right there. I think I'm going to go with this because much of the pages that are going to become the insert are going to be the brown colors. So I think I'm just going to go with this, like this. Now, here's the thing I did not test, and I would normally test this before I do a project, is the glue. Because this paper is so thin, it's really transparent and really thin. If I come in with a glue, this is white glue, but it dries clear. But the thing with this is it's going to come in beads, right? It comes in with this fine tip. It's going to come in beads. I don't want to see beads of glue. So I'm going to be better off brushing glue onto this surface and then putting the paper into it. However, I don't know. I have not tested this paper yet. I should have, but I have not tested it yet to see how it's going to take water. So I think I'm going to brush some glue, but I want to tell you, I got this from scrapbook.com and it works phenomenally. I haven't used it for something like this, but I think it would be tremendous. It's double-sided adhesive. It's basically double-sided adhesive tape, but it comes in sheets. And you can buy it, I'm sure, as big as this 8.5 by 11 paper. So I could cover this whole thing with these adhesive sheets and then peel off the backing and stick on the paper. But because it's not big enough, I don't really want to mess with that. I'm just going to chance it and go with my glue. And I'm going to use, actually, I'm going to use matte gel medium. I've been using it tonight. My brush already has it on there. It's already got lots of matte gel medium on it. And so I'm just going to use this. You know what I'm going to grab real quick? Oh, I'm just going to grab one that came in my mail, my Happy Mail. I use these sheets that come in my Happy Mail as like a background, kind of like a table mat for when I'm using glue and paints and I don't want to get them on my work table. I use these papers because they would have gotten thrown out anyway, right? So I'm really big about use what you got, use it up, don't throw it out. I do a lot of online shopping, so I really try hard to lessen my blueprint by reusing the things that I get, the packaging, even the packaging. Try not to just throw it in the garbage. And I recycle the cardboard boxes. I use the bags to make journals. In fact, today in the subscriber group, I was working with the Amazon bag journal that we created. I'll show you the new page that I did with the subscribers. So this book was made out of, it was a bag that I got, some stuff was shipped to me in Amazon. A corrugated bag, actually. So I created a little junk journal, art journal with it. And today, all of these pages I'm going to be filling with the subscribers. So people who are Facebook fans, meaning they pay $1.99 a month, they get exclusive content. I'm going to be filling these pages, and we did this one today. And I love how it turned out. And I did use a napkin underneath as part of the base of it, because it was just a napkin. I loved the colors, and I loved it. And then we layered and layered and layered some stuff. So I do, you guys, I try to use it all. I don't like just throwing stuff out. I just don't. All right, so what we're gonna do, I wanna make sure I have a nice bunch of glue, and I'm gonna have to stand up. I'm gonna have to get off my little butt here. Stand up. Let me turn this light on just for a minute so I can see how much glue I have, because I can't see the sheen of the glue with the light off. Might be better for you, but then Gracie Grew can't see anything. All right. This, the rice paper is so thin, I don't think it's gonna need a whole lot of glue. So I want, it does look different. This side looks more vibrant to me, and that's what I want to show. So I'm gonna turn this around this way and put it down this way. I'm gonna try to center it best I can. I just eyeball, because that's how I roll. And then I do like having something on hand that I can push the pages, or this, in this case, the book, into the glue. So I'm just using this. If you have a brayer, that works too. My brayer is full of paint. So I'm not gonna grab that right now, but we're gonna do this. All right. Now, I think for the rest of this, let's check here, because we want to make sure this folds well and that the folds stay down well. Look at how pretty that's going to be. Oh, I love it. It took the glue very, very well. It really did. I've got a little bit of a bump right there from glue, like a little ripple. And then let's see. We're just going to try If there's any excess glue, you can see that bubble. I think that's a bubble of glue. Let's turn it around and see. Is this going to push glue out? I think it is. I think it's like a little bubble. Yep, see that? That was just excess glue. So you want to, I don't want that stuff to like dry and harden in there. Let me grab my little paper towel. So I come on this side. I'm just going to make sure that I get out any major excess and really flatten this. I'm also concentrating on making sure that these sections that have the binding part, that they're going to be able to fold easily and well. Like they're going to fold and open up easily and well, which that looks beautiful. So pretty. Okay. I think I missed right here. Look at that, girls. Imagine that. Look what I missed. I missed a corner. That's me. I always miss my corners. Okay. I think for the rest of it, I'm just going to use glue tape, and I'm gonna fold this over, and it's gonna make a really pretty cover and a really secure cover. But instead of using the wet glue, I think, well, I don't know. It's a funny paper because it is paper, but it feels more like a fabric. It really does. Maybe we should just use the wet glue all the way around. Let me get mine. I'm going to fold this because now I have glue on it. I have glue on here, so I'm going to fold it in half. I'll use it for my backdrop to get some glue. I'm going to put glue on the paper and then fold it over. I'm debating here, you guys. I know what I want to do. I just don't always have all the answers. There's a couple of ways you can do your corners. Let's just get some glue on here, and then my scissors. I'm going to just cut a little bit of this corner. I don't cut all the way to the corner. I do leave it a little bit there. This is really cutting it close for size, but we're going to make it work. It's a junk journal, girls. Like, we don't have to be perfect here. Feels like I need more glue. Yep. Yep, I need more glue. Either it already dried on me or something happened there. It is like, it's almost like a fabric. It's the strangest material. I'm like trying to figure out what I'm doing here. I feel like I'm fumbling. All right, there we go. I'm folding it over gently. I'm not like pulling super tight on it, because it's a very fragile paper. But look at how tight that seam is, which is lovely. Okay. Let me cut before I put the glue down. It's better to cut beforehand. I just was eager before. It's better to cut beforehand because then you're not going to get glue on your scissors, right? I'm just going to cut that. It's kind of just like a little curve. Again, don't be afraid of this stuff, you guys. Don't feel like if it's not perfect, I'm not doing it, because you'll never do it. You'll never do it. Let me just tell you that, especially if you're just trying junk journaling for the first time. If you let the idea that it has to be perfect hold you back, you just never will start. And that would be a crying shame, as they say, because you will find so much joy out of turning junk into pretty things. I know you will. I know you will if you just let yourself do it and not worry about being perfect. This paper is like, it's a true joy to work with. It's just so soft, and it kind of has a fabric quality. Now this side is going to be shorter than these are. It's just the way it worked out, but it fits on here really well. So I'm not terribly worried about that. Like, see, I'm only going to have like 1/4 of an inch here. I'm going to cover this with another panel, so it doesn't really worry me. The bigger issue is just making sure that it wraps around. So let's get some glue. I don't really want that much, so I'm going to just offload a little bit of it onto my paper here. Okay. Gently folding. I'm not pulling really hard. I'm just gently folding it over and letting it naturally lay where it wants to. And it really, unlike regular paper, this paper has a real forgiving quality. It folds into itself really nicely. Where when you're using like regular paper, you know how you can see the creases? This one is very forgiving. Gosh, it's gonna be pretty. Oh, I'm excited. You guys, I'm gonna get the signature in here to show you how to make this full thing. But I have to tell you, sometimes when we do late night crafting, I don't finish all the way. Like sometimes it takes more time. These books sometimes can take a couple of hours. I love that labor. It's a labor of love to me. So I love the process of making these books. And it's the fact that they take 2 to 3 hours to make these little junk journals. It's no worry to me. It just brings me so much joy to do it. And it brings me even more joy when I can either give it to somebody or sell it, or, you know, somebody's going to get it and be able to use it. That brings my heart so much joy. So I have no problem spending a couple of hours on one of these. But I usually do the cover last. It's just me. I think it's like I want to see the whole book come together before I decide what I want to put on the cover. Because the cover is like the first thing that you see, rather important. So I want to get everything else in place and then decide what are we doing about the cover here. Let's see. Is this a gap? No, it's not. I thought maybe there was a place where we needed some more glue. It's done, you guys. It feels a little damp. That's okay. I'm going to put this aside. Oh, maybe we should put this other panel in. I think I'm going to look for a similar panel. Well, I could just use regular paper. I don't even need to use this paper. But the paper is so darn forgiving. I usually just do one panel on the front, one panel on the back, and then leave the binding alone. But because this is laying down so beautifully, I'm going to look for, like this one is not exactly the same, but it's very similar. It's actually more fibrous. Let's find a couple of options for the center that are going to look similar. This one's another one that looks. I think all of these look very similar to the cover. They have like the same coloring. This one seems to have bigger, longer strands. These two are more similar. So I'm just going to grab one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it to this size so that I can just glue it down in here. And then we're going to put this aside to dry and we'll create the signature. So see what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover the inside as well. And you don't have to use matching papers at all. That's the fun of making the book. You can put whatever the heck you want in there. You can put whatever the heck you want. So, but let me get my little ruler here and let's see what we got. Okay, let's see. So what is Kimberly saying? I now want to make these for my family for Christmas. I know many that keep journals, not art journals. So just fill it with blank pages. Just fill it with blank pages and then they can journal to their heart's content. You can fill it with lined paper. They can journal to their heart's content. I need 6.5 by 10.5 would do me some good. I don't know how this paper is going to cut in my paper cutter, but we're going to try it. 6.5 by 10.5. Let me put the glue aside. The fiber paper I got from Amazon. 6.5 by 10.5. That's what I said, right? Let's open this stinker up. Put the glue aside. I keep this on the right, even though, because I'm a righty, even though the numbers then are upside down, I keep this thing to the right because I'm a righty. That's how I do it. All right, 6.5 by 10.5. I don't know how this is going to cut this paper because this paper is a little unusual, but let's get it on here. And sometimes, because I lack confidence, this is a scoring board and a cutter. Sometimes I end up cutting stuff crooked even though I don't intend to. So sometimes I line my ruler up here and make sure that this whole thing is lined up to the ruler. I think I just need a better cutting. I'm going to make it just a tish longer than 10.5. I think I need a better cutting board. So if somebody has a cutting board, a paper cutting board that you love that cuts really accurate, please let me know. I just ordered new blades for this because I've had it for a long time and it needs new blades. This will not go to waste. Nope, of course not. There's 10.5. That cut very well. Now we're going to go 6.5 this way. And actually, that looks like it has a little nub in it, like a little, it's like a little blunt. So I'm going to cut that corner off and keep the other corners. Again with my ruler, this just helps me to know that I'm straight all the way down the whole line of paper, because I don't know why. It could be user error. I don't know. But sometimes I struggle to get, uh-oh, the blade got caught right there. It's not liking that. I'm going to go in the middle of the paper. So the blade got caught right here, kind of to bunch up on me. So I'm going to puncture it here and go back. Because if it, this is why I ordered new blades. If it tears the paper, I don't want torn paper. So I'm going to go slow here. It's bunching up on me, girls. I'm going to go slower. New blades are on the way. Don't worry. Actually, I think they were supposed to arrive today from Amazon, of course. Okay. Sandy says, We Are Memory Keepers cutting and scoring cutter. She loves it. Ooh, I love We Are Memory Keepers. I love their stuff. Okay, this is going to fit perfectly in here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to glue it down. I'm just going to use my matte gel to get this down on here. It worked really well the first time. Who else? Sandy likes the We Are Memory Keepers. Who else has one? Joyce says, I have a book that belonged to my mom and I want to use it for journaling, but I'm worried about making the cover. I've never done an entire cover before. Oh, Joyce, go get one from the thrift store and practice on a practice book before you use your mom's book. That's what I would do. Just go get another book. Grab one from the shelf that you've already read and you just haven't handed it off to somebody or given it away. Go find a hardcover book and just use that, my friend. Then you'll get some practice time on a book that isn't so precious to you, right? There are lots of books in the world that need love and attention. Really, they do. Some of the books that I got from my library sale are like from the 40s and 50s and have been out of circulation for decades. And you know, they only have so much room. So as they're getting new books to put in circulation, they got to get rid of the old ones. And I hate to see them just get thrown out. I'd much rather give them some love and attention, make them something pretty and gift them to somebody, or just put it on my coffee table as a pretty book cover. Piece of art. Why wouldn't you? I just think it's such a fabulous idea. I'm going to move this closer to me so I can see what I'm doing and reach it, because I'm kind of a short girl. Oh, you guys, I'm just going to make it here in terms of coverage. I'm going to focus on this center first, because I need to get those indentations. And then I'm going to take my little tool and I'm going to go out. There. I'm a righty, so it's easier for me to move the book. I got some glue popping out of here. That's okay. Just gonna wipe it away. That's why I use the little tool. And you can use an old credit card, gift card, like a, you know, used up Target gift card or Walmart card or Visa card. Doesn't matter. Just something flat. That's gonna give you this option of getting all these wrinkles up. Now, I can see right here, I missed a spot. I have this extra glue here and not enough glue right in here. There's like a little gap right there. So what I usually try to do is just get my little brush in there with a little bit of that glue and then put it back down and smooth it out. There. Easy breezy, lemon squeezer. We're gonna let this dry. Got a bubble right here. If the bubble is minor and this stuff is all stuck down already, I'm just going to leave it. I'm not even going to worry about it. Okay. Now we should check the folds. Make sure it's folding well. And it will. So this has just got to dry. Look at how pretty that cover is going to be. And we'll still, of course, decorate it even more. Here's that spot again. It's giving me trouble. I need you to stay down, friend. There we go. Yep, I'm going to put it aside to dry so we can do the inside part. Actually, before we do that, let's take our ruler and just measure so we know what we want to cut here. So, you think of this 2A's. Each page would be this size, right? But because we're going to sew this in, what I need to know is this height by the full width, because the pages will get folded in half and then sewn into the book. So I need to know my height, which I would go with like 6.5, because I like to have a little space. I don't want the amount of space between the page. Let me just show you real quick. When I put my page in here, I don't want it to be right on line with the book cover. I want it to be in a little bit so that there's this border, because when I work in an art journal, I like things to be chunky and thick, and I like the pages to be really full. So I like to have enough room for overages and things to hang outside of my book without much trouble, right? So I like to leave a nice border around. I don't want it to be too tight. That's just me personally. Some people go just like within 1/8 of an inch here. They go really tight. I don't want it to be that tight. So I'm going to go 6.5, I think, by 10 3/4. Let me just check if I did 10 3/4. So 6.5 by 10 3/4. That's what we want to do. And if it's helpful to you, you can write it down if you're just not sure that you're going to remember that through the whole project. 6.5. Somebody remember that, because I'm going to ask in a minute. What did we say? 6.5 by 10 3/4. Let's put this aside to dry. And then what I think I'll do is use my paper cutter. I think I can put this away for now. And let's make the insert for the inside. So the next part is deciding what pages to put in, how many of them to put. How many and what pages? Like what do you want them to look like? So I told you I have these, and these would go very well. So like you could either do all the same exact page so they all look exactly the same, or we could vary it and have some dark, some light. I really like the look of that one. So let's grab one of those. We'll grab one of these. I do like a little variety. These are double-sided. So I do kind of like the idea of a little bit of variety. So let's go through these and just pick out maybe just one of each, or this one's a little green for my taste for this book, so I'm going to skip that. That's my favorite one from this set. And I don't want the stripes. I'm just not feeling it. Just don't want them. Just because. There's no rhyme or reason why. Then, is this the last page before the stripes? Let's see. I think it is. And it has kind of a texture to it. And I like that it has that edging around it, the distressed edging. Okay. What did I say? 6.5 by 10 3/4, right? Okay, so if we used all of these, right? If we used all of these, they're going to get folded in half. So we're going to have double the number of pages of what's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll have 10 pages in this book. I'm going to add, because they're just fabulous and awesome, I'm going to add at least one, maybe two of these. They'll match the cover and they're just fabulous. Let's add this one right here with the blades of grass. This stuff is so flimsy. It's even hard to get it to like, and let's do that one. It has leaves in it. It's really even hard to do this with it, to like get it to all stay together again, because it's so soft. It's like fabric. All right. So we know they all need to be 6.5. I can cut several pieces with this cutter. I won't do all of them, but I'll do half of them now. So we're going to go 6.5. The only problem with cutting more than one is you really got to make sure that they're on the same, they're both at the same place. And where's my ruler? I could use my ruler if I wanted to be really sure, that this is straight. That's 6.5. These don't go to waste. I'm putting them aside because maybe we'll use them somewhere in here. Joy, you have these papers? These ones or the other ones? Now, when I cut this, the unfortunate part is when I cut this, we're going to lose that distressing on one side, but it is what it is, friends. There's not a whole lot we can do about it. We're going to go 10 1/4. So I have these first two, right? I said 10. Did I say 10 1/4 or 10 3/4? Ha! Already I forget. Already I forget. Let's see. Oh, 10 1/2 would work really well too. This paper might not even be long enough. Let's see. That's 10 1/2 right there. So I'm only cutting a sliver off actually. If I do 10 3/4, I really am only cutting a sliver off. Look, can't even save that to use it for anything. It's so little. Let's test it and see. Here's my cover. It's going to sit in the book like this. So see, this is what I was talking about, this border. I like to have a bit of a border because I want to have room. It's going to get folded and it's going to sit in there like that. I like to have room. I might go a little shorter than this 10 3/4. It is perfect, right, Joy? But for some reason, in Gracie's mind, 10 3/4 feels a little long to me. Let's just go down to 10 1/2. I don't know. I think I'm going to go down to 10 1/2, girls. It's just a sliver more. It really is just a sliver more. We're going to go 10 1/2 by 6 and what did I say? 6 and what is it? I keep forgetting. 6 1/2 by 10 1/2. That's what we landed on. Okay. So now we just got to cut all of our inserts to 6 1/2 by 10 1/2. So now we know. We're going to do it. Let's try this on 3 pages. This one's really interesting paper. Making sure it's all together. 6 1/2. My family is, I live with boys. It's boy land here at the Kurtz household. And my boys, where did I put the ruler, girls? My boys are watching some kind of action movie, it seems. Okay, the ruler's missing. Oh, good gravy, Grace. Oh, Lord, oh, Lord. I found it. I'll call off the alert. I found it. Okay, there's 6 1/2. Oh, come on, don't get all wonky on me. See why I struggle, you guys? I struggle. The struggle is real. 6 1/2. This will get saved by 10 1/2. And if there's something you want to cut off more, like I'd rather cut off the orangey part, I think, yeah, than the brown half. So we're going to go 10 1/2. So I'm going to cut off more of this orangey side. Get that lined up. I wish I could find a cutter that has this on here too. It just makes me feel more confident when I'm cutting. That's just me, because I always struggle with this. I had to get a drink of water, girls. All right, we're almost done. We're just going to do the rice paper. We're collecting up all our papers that we're going to put in the book. This book will end up in the auction that I'm going to do. These were the 2 pages. I don't know that I want to cut these together. Do I dare? Do I dare cut these at the same time? Will this paper cutter allow it with this funky paper? Let's try it. Let's be daredevils. Going for the quick route here. I'm fussy about this because I struggle to get things straight. Please don't catch. Please just cut right. Yay! I have 2 strips there. That's my 10 1/2. Now I gotta go 6 1/2. I don't want to cut any of the pretties off. I don't want to cut any of the pretties off. I want to keep those, because I think this is going to be such a beautiful journal with these special papers in here. Now, if somebody asks about this auction, I'm going to do a live auction, and I'm going to auction off some of the things that I've been creating. like this whimsical one that we did. This is made out of envelopes. I shared the flip through on this one. These are going to be in a journal or a live auction that I'm going to do. So stay tuned for that. I don't have a date set. The issue is I want to have enough to put in the auction to make it worth your time to like hang out with me while I do the auction. I might have cut this too short. I might have cut it just a tad short. I did. It's okay. I'm still putting it in here. So if I line them all up exactly on this line together, I'm about a 1/4 inch short. So I'm just going to center them. And I'm not going to put them in the middle. Next comes the really fun part of deciding what pages are going to come first. I did want to try to work in some of this paper. So hang tight while I grab this too. I don't know, this has sticky on it. If I have any of these going the right way. Let's see. Nope, they're all going this way. This is coffee dye paper that I put through my color printer. This is one of the months that we did my craft grade. I love this. I just think it's really pretty and decorative. And I was thinking it would be really fun to try to work it into the book. Now I'm not sure if I'll be able to. Let's see. Let's grab one of these and just see. You know, if I kept it, if I lined it up like this, come on, I know you want to. I know you want to. If I lined it up like this, when I fold this in half, it's going to fold in. So we need to cut apart. I think I can do this. I think it would make a really interesting like overlay and insert. So this goes 10.5 inches wide. And this one is 8.5 inches wide. So if I just cut, well, first of all, I would have to fold it like around here at the center line with all the other pages. Then this would need to be 5 1/4. If you bear with me, right? This would need to be 5 1/4 because this full length is 10.5. So if at the half point, I know this is 5 1/4, right? That makes sense. I'm really bad at math, but I think I'm making sense there with that. So if I did it like this at 5 1/4 and I cut it, this is an experiment now. Now, if I put this in with the rest of the pages, and they're folded in half, this page will line up, it should line up exactly or pretty darn close. So now I just need to cut it down to this length, which was 6 1/2, right? Yep, 6 1/2. So what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to fold this in half. So I kind of know where my center point is. I'm just going to finger press that. So I know that's my center point. So if I want this to be 6 1/2 inches wide, then at 3 1/4 is the center of this. There's my finger press at 3 1/4. So I would have 3 1/4 this way, 3 1/4 that way. It's going to give me my 6 1/2. Does that make sense? Do you see where I'm going with this? This is just my thinking. That's the way my crazy brain works. When my kids talk with me about the math that they're learning at school. Oh, wait, where are you going, Gracie? Going the wrong way. I need to stop talking for a minute. Here, this way. When my kids talk to me about the math that they're learning at school, where's my finger press? I lost it. There it is, right there. The finger press is right there. That's my little indicator that needs to be at 3 1/4. Now my problem is that's at the bottom. And my measurements are up here. Good night, buddy. I love you.
Oh, you too.
You look tired. You better get to bed.
I'm watching a show with Dad. We both almost got asleep, so.
Oh, what are you watching? What is it? Oh, I love that movie.
Sleep Buddy.
You can sleep there. Oh, he's asleep there?
He's asleep inside.
Oh.
He's already asleep.
Okay, you better get to bed too then, honey. I love you. Sorry, girls. Okay, so there's the 3 1/4 with my finger press line. I'm trying to get it so that it's going to line up exactly with the pages in my book. That's basically what I'm trying to do. However the math works for you in your head, that's how it worked for me. So now, on one side, I'm going to have a 1/2 fold. I'm totally fine with that because I think that could be interesting and cool. And on the other side, I'll have this coffee stained paper in here. Okay. Anyway, when I was, Anne says it makes perfect sense. When I was talking to my kids about how they're learning Common Core math, or they have been learning that. The texture and crinkle, I know, I love the sound of these pages. What they're learning in school and the way that they do math is completely different from the way that I learned math. So it's been a challenge because it's not that I could help them anymore. They're into like advanced math now. That's certainly not what I can handle, my brain capacity, but when they were in elementary school even, I was like, oh, how are you figuring that out? Like division and decimal points. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense compared to the way that I learned it. That's not how I was taught. So it's very, very interesting. But they both do very well in math, so I can't knock it. Okay, now we just have to fold these all center, and we're going to get them ready to be sewn into the book. I don't think I need the cutter anymore. So I'm just going to put this aside for a hot minute here. And this will probably be low on your screen just so I can get it close to me and I can make sure I'm folding it correctly. But I'm going to try to fold this as accurately as I can. This paper is really hard to wrangle together. So I get these lined up. And then I'm going to come down here and get a nice crease going with my bone folder. After I get this part done, I'm going to decide what order to put these in. And I love doing that part. I love it. I don't know why, but I do love it. Can we just do all of these at once? Wouldn't it be nice instead of doing one at a time? The thing is, when you fold these, the ones on the outside, you see it creates like a little fan. So they won't be, oh, I hear thunder. They won't be together. I mean, they won't be accurately in the middle, folded in the middle if you do them all together. The more pages you have, the bigger that fan gets. So it is more accurate if you would just fold each one individually. And because we don't have that many pages, it really shouldn't be that much of a burden. And again, never works me up if I'm off a tish. Noopity nope. Who else is creating tonight? For those of you on the West Coast, on the western part of the country anyway, are you still up and you're getting ready to create and craft? East Coasters are probably getting ready for bed. I'm in Central Time Zone and my husband and my 2 kids are all in bed or heading to bed this very minute. It's a school and work day, so they need to get their rest. Okay, we have all of these. I'm just wondering if I need more. That's what's going to go in the inside of this book. And it feels just like, these pages feel thin to me. I did pull out some other papers. But I've since put them aside because I kind of decided against them. Let's just see. Let's just see. How do we want to put these together? We've got these are doubled up. I like the idea of starting with one of these. Maybe start with one of these behind one of the lighter. I can't even get it opened, you guys. So if we opened up the book to this, and we would want to center this. Let's go with this big crinkle page. And then maybe we'll put, so when you see next will be the tab by itself, because the So Blessed will come later on this back side, right? So, and on this side, you're just going to see this tab, which I think is kind of fun. Now let's put one of the fabric-y pages in. This one has these beautiful petals here. we'll go with the dark one. And then we'll go with this one. So that's, oh, and I love that middle. I think that's beautiful. So that's what that's how the book would open. Where's my book cover? Here's my book cover. This is potentially what we're going to be opening it up to. Oh, this wants to stick. This page wants to like float with the other one. Isn't that funny? It's like static cling or something. It's like sticking to itself. So let's not do that. Let's open to this one. Then put the fabric-y one. That's funny how that was working out. Okay, so it'll open up like, it's just doing it with every page, I guess. It's gonna open up like this, and we'll have a fabric-y page, and then we'll have a crinkle page, and then we'll have this little funny tab. What's that doing there? We don't know. Then we have another fabric-y page with the beautiful petals. Grungy page. We're in the middle, and then as we work our way through, we will come to the Give Thanks page eventually. Or, excuse me, So Blessed. What do you think of the So Blessed? Should we keep it in there? Do you like it? And that's how it would end. I feel like I want to put something else in here. Good night, Candy. Aw, fur babies is sweet. Joyce, that's cute. I'm hand stitching some felt birds, Maureen says, as I watch you. My hubby already went to bed. He's an early bird. Donna's up in her jammies just watching as you create this amazing little journal. Donna, they're so fun to create. I'm so glad you're just hanging out with us and enjoying it. Janet's going to weave for a while. She's trying some new stuff out. Yay! Jeannie's resting from her trip. Travel takes so much energy. I'm just watching, but it is still early here. Jeannie, I'm with you. Whenever I travel, I feel the same way, that it like just saps out my energy. I completely agree with you on that. Okay, I'm just gonna, for the sake of it, I'm gonna grab this. This is like just papers. These are just leftover papers from other projects. So let's just see if we have something that we could insert in here just to make it interesting. The Dictionary of Gardening. I'm just going to see right now if I have a scrap that is similar that could be interesting to put in there. Into some Christmas stuff. I'm not really seeing anything. These are all upside down. I dropped this whole container the other day. It like went all over the place. I was so agitated with myself. This I love. This I love. This I love, but I know I don't have a full page of it. But we could insert that graphic. These colors all match. Maybe. I'm going to put those aside as maybe. And I do like the double-sided idea because then like the whole thing has decorative elements to it. A lot of times I don't use double-sided pages, and then I go in on the white pages, like the back side of some of those pages, and decorate them or do something to them. I think from now on I'm going to be shopping, even though it's more expensive, the double-sided pages, just because it just makes it so much easier to create. Sometimes you want the white back, sometimes you don't. All right, I think we have some really good options here from my scrap pile. Let's put this aside again. All right, I don't know. I love this paper right here. It's cardstock though. There's nothing flimsy about it, but this could be a really pretty addition to this book. But will it go with the So Blessed? I think it will be okay because we got some green in here too. Let's cut this down to size and just see what are we going to get if we do this. Is it, first of all, will it fit? We need 6.5. Yep. We have enough of it. You love it? It'd be pretty, you know, just to have a pretty element in here instead of all plain pages. So we have 6.5 by 10. What are we doing? 10 and what? 10 and what? 10.5. Oh, what did I end up on? 10.5. Cardstock is always easier to place on these boards and get cut, I think. This is pretty, you guys. This is very pretty. Let's just see. I think I'm going to like this. Bone folder. Did I put you away? You're right here. Oh, ran out of room here. Okay. That is so pretty, you guys. In fact, if I put it on the outside, it's almost like a double, like this, like a hardcover. So maybe what I want to do is come in a little bit with that. How would it look right behind that fabric-y paper, the rice paper? Look at, oh, look what it does behind this rice paper. Perfection right there. The rice paper is so see-through, translucent. Perfect. Okay, what about the other ones? Look at that, you guys. It's just so perfect in there. Okay, I like that addition. It actually is getting a little bit chunky. Oh, and look what's happening. Remember when I told you the thicker that this gets, when you fold them in half and you put them together, the thicker it gets, the more of this fanning you're going to get. So I can show you. We can deal with that. You can either leave it if it doesn't bother you, but if it does bother you, we can cut that down too. This I love, and this could be pretty to use in here somehow. Let's cut this off first. Oh, I don't think that's lined up. I don't think this is straight. I'm going to cut it this way. Oops. I don't think that other side was straight. I'm going to cut this off first, because maybe I could use this little butterfly. I don't know, but I really like it. It's not cut straight, that's for sure. Come on. And this, now this, it's too, if I were to fold this and sew this in here, we're going to have a really narrow, and we're going to lose the flower. So I'm not sure I'm loving that. But what if we could find a place for this flower? Oh, I love it so much. But I don't want to cut it down to this little, you know, I could make a little pocket out of it or something, but I don't want to cut it down. That would just do pretty. So let's just deal with right now. Let's use what we've got here. I really like the addition of this. Is it magnolia? I don't know what those flowers are, but I really like the addition of that in there. We are going to deal with this because now these pages, the fact that we've got so much thickness going here, it's going to stick out a little bit. So one way you can contend with this is to keep them all together and to just cut them. I'm a little nervous about this only because of the fabric-y paper. I don't know how that will cut with my knife. You want to make sure that this V, I call it the V, that this middle fold is really tight. Like you don't want to have some of them like in the wrong position when you do this. You want to make sure they're all in there nice and tight. And then use a ruler, and we're going to cut here to get this. If this bugs you, this actually doesn't bug me. I quite like it because I like chunky books and I like things to be sticking out. However, I understand it if it's not something you want. We did all of this. We did a major book binding workshop 1 month in the Craft Therapy Club. Mary, you could totally use that pretty paper with the So Blessed. Oh, use this with the So Blessed, you mean? Or the butterfly, Jeannie? Look at how pretty that paper is. All right, so here what you would do is you want to make sure that your middles are really, really tight and in place. Then you're going to take a ruler and you're going to line it up where you want it, if you want it all to like match this top one. And then you are very slowly and methodically going to take your knife and you're going to start cutting these pages down. This is raised up off of, I'm going to show you, the ruler is raised up off the table because the pages are thick enough. I have enough thickness there, so it's raised up off the table. So you just really, really have to take your time. You're going to end up cutting a couple of little slices of page off at a time. I don't know how the rice paper is going to take to this knife in this process, but let's just see. Paper on the end of my knife. And you just do it until you've gotten through all the layers. And then it's going to be tighter. I didn't even get it all. There's still a little bit more there. So you just keep working it until you shave off everything you don't want. I would leave it, just personally, that's my preference, is to leave it, because I don't like things to be uber perfect in my books. I just don't. I like it to be junky. I like it to be chunky and irregular and natural, like really organic looking. And we took off such slivers. I mean, there you go. Now you have your nice even. We took off these slivers. It wasn't a whole lot, but if it matters that much to you, that's how you do it. You need an extra sharp knife. You need a nice new blade. You need steady surfaces to cut on. All right, now we can get our holes in here so we can sew this together. So I'm going to use my awl, and I'm going to grab my little pokey mat. Use the flower page as a tabbed page. I thought about that, but Jeannie, I'm feeling like, Jeannie, that this is getting kind of thick. You know, I want to leave enough room for whoever gets this book to put stuff in here, and I feel like we have plenty of pages, so I'm just going to leave it out. But thank you for the suggestion. Okay, good night, Jeannie. It's a different Jeannie saying good night. Okay, now we're going to get these pages cut down. So now the only pages that I had in mind that were a little shorter, because remember I cut them a 1/4 inch shorter than the others, were the fabric-y ones. So if it really is important to you, you might want to take a minute and just check the positioning of those two rice pages to make sure that they're centered. Looks like I see what I did here. That's not centered. Okay, and they are pretty centered, so I'm not too terribly worried about that. Okay, it may help to clip once you have everything in place. You want to make sure that V is really tight right there. Oh, we want to make sure this V is nice and tight, because that's where we're going to puncture the holes. I'm going to do 3 holes. I eyeball it. I don't worry too much about super precision here. I'm going to get it a little closer to me so I can reach better. I'm just going to start in the middle, right on that V, right on that binding, and I'm going to poke 1 hole. Make sure it goes through. There's my 1 hole. And then I just eyeball it, you guys. Like, I usually go about 1 inch. You can measure if you want to. It's just not my style. I'm going to go about 1 inch in. Make sure it goes through. And then about 1 inch in. About. It's okay if it's not exact. It's a junk journal, people. And we're going to go all the way through. Now, we want the holes on here to match up. So let's make sure we have, where is our front? I think this is our front. Not that it even matters, but I think this is our front. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to line it up with this. We are going to use this as our guide now to cut through. There are multiple ways you can do this. There are multiple, like, order, like the order that you do this in, totally up to you. I want to line this up right in the middle of that 1/2 inch. I'm shooting for right in the middle of that 1/2 inch with this. So we want to get it lined up pretty well. Again, if it helps you, to use the clips to hold it down. And then I'm just going to check, because I want this to be right in the middle. If it's not, you guys, like, don't get overworked up about this stuff. Just don't do it to yourself. Now, I want to make sure too, I want to see this gap in between here. I want to just check and make sure that my yeah, it's going all the way through all of the pages. So I am lined up. You guys, if you want to be incredibly, like, super uber, like uber accurate with this stuff, use I teach you in the Craft Therapy Club how to use a template for this. I don't use a template because it's not my style. It's too much. It just takes all the fun out of it. As far as I'm concerned, it takes all the fun out of it. What I'm doing now, I'm kind of checking here to see where my hole is landing in the middle of this. And I think it's going to be good right there. Yep. So I'm just eyeballing it. These are not going to be on the money. They're just not, because I'm not measuring it. It just takes the fun out of it. So I just eyeball it. And if you want it to be super accurate, you can totally measure out, create a template for yourself for all these pages. I teach you how to do that in the Craft Therapy Club. We do it on one of the books, and we have many, many bindings in that one book. So we wanted to be really accurate with it. This is a junk journal, so I just don't get that worked up over it. Okay, you have some of the fabric and the pulp from these coming out on this side, so you can just push those back in. A lot of times you can do it with your bone folder, just like get those to flatten out a little bit if that bothers you, because they kind of poke out. It looks like a little volcano, the tip of a volcano. So you can just push those back in. But we got to get our thread through here. We're going to get our thread through here, so we want to make sure that these holes are really established so we can thread through here and sew this together. Okay. All right. Do we want the thread to be on the inside or the outside? Making sure they're all established. I've got my waxed thread here. Sometimes this wax thread, I can get it through without even needing a needle. So I'm going to try that tonight. Just if I don't need a needle, that's great. I think I want the thread on the inside for this, not on the outside. So I'm going to start on the inside because I want to tie it on the inside. So see, my thread will go right through there, my waxed thread. I don't even need a needle. But I do want to make sure I have enough of this here, so I'm going to hold that with my thumb. Doesn't matter, you can go up or down, but you got to get this in the next hole. Let's see if I can get it to go through. Yes, I can. There are several ways you can do this. All kinds of tutorials out there on how to do this. I'm going to skip and go to the next hole, the third one. I'm going to skip the middle hole. If you need to, reestablish. Use your awl. And I got stuck on my clips. I actually don't even need the clips anymore. I'm going to take this excess, I'm going to put it through here. We got to get it back through this center hole. I want to reestablish, make sure I took the clips off, so now I'm going to make sure all of these You did it to yourself, Gracie. I want to make sure I can, there it is, that it's going to be all the way through. In one easy push, not having to like really fight this. There we go. All right, now I have all of my thread up here. We want to make sure it's taut here. Like, you don't want to pull it so tight that you're pulling your paper and warping it, but you want it to be tight enough that the pages are going to stay together in your book. It's best, you have 2 strands here that we're going to tie in the center of this book. It is best, see this? If one of them is on one side and the other one is on the other side. So just because it's really going to help secure your book in place. So feed one through so that they are straddling this, okay? Again, because we were just monkeying with it, make sure these are nice and tight. You could do it a couple of times if you wanted these to be really obvious and bold. You can use ribbon, you can use ribbon, you can use like sari ribbon is so pretty, chiffon ribbon, you can use embroidery thread, you can use whatever you have on hand. I want this tie to be in the middle because I think it's pretty with a little bow. And the nice thing, if you just bow it, I did knot it. You can always cut this off if you wanted to add something more to this book after you've got it all bound together like this. No worries, you know how to bind it. So you can bind it together anytime you want to. You just cut off what's there and then you can re-sew it back in place if you want to add something to it later. Okay, oh, it be done. Amazon packaging turned into, let's flip through because it's so fun. Okay, turned into this really pretty little art journal. It could be a place where these would fit 4x6 pictures probably. Let's see. Yeah, there's 4 inches. There's 6 inches right there. So yeah, you could fit a 4x6 picture on every single one of these pages if you wanted to. Oh, there's the front. Here we go. Let's try again. I had it upside down. Oh my gosh. The pages are really pretty together. This little tab I love because it's like, what are we doing? It's gripped. This is the organic part of it that I love. Using stuff that you already have on hand. This is coffee dyed papers that I printed on my color printer. This little graphic, that's So Blessed graphic. There's the center of the book. There's a really pretty paper. Again, here's the So Blessed. That is so pretty together. I'm thrilled with the way this turned out. Now, I was thinking the butterfly. We could use the butterfly as like a pocket on the front or the back of the book, just as a little place. A lot of the journals that I buy actually have a pocket built in on the front or the back. So we could make this a little pocket. I actually wouldn't mind making it a little wider, you know, meaning stick out a little bit. Could I do that with this? It's a very pretty little journal. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, thank you. Christy says, fantastic. I'm so glad you like it. Hey, Kathy, thanks for saying so pretty. Butterfly or no butterfly? Should we get this in here like this? It just seems to just go, doesn't it? I'm just feeling like I want to score it. Where's my scoring tool? I feel like I want to score it and make it, all right, if I line it up here, I don't love this scoring table. I will tell, or this scoring thing, I'll tell you the truth here. If I have it at 3, if I just line it up at the 3 and I want to score it, I don't want to go quite a half, maybe a 1/4 inch in. going to score it 1/4 inch in from the 3. Because that would give me a fold. I should have done it on the other side. Darn it. Oh well. It's done now. What is done is done. We're gonna get a fold here. If I wouldn't lose the butterfly, I would do the bottom as well, but I don't want to lose the butterfly. But if I did that, then you see what happens. That pocket, it sticks out a little bit, so then you have more room for more things. If I just put it on flat, which I do sometimes, it becomes like a little tuck spot, which is great. This becomes more of a pocket because by gluing down on the tab, the face of the tabs that I just created, it gives this a little more, it sticks out more and it gives it more space. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use some of my double-sided tape, I think, or my tape runner. I'll just use my tape runner. I need a piece of scrap paper. This glue paper is probably dry by now, so I'm going to put a little bit of this glue. This isn't a good idea because I don't have much control over that. Nope. Okay, Grace, find the tape runner. Hold on, Grace. I'm going to find my double-sided tape because I don't feel like I have much control with that. So I'm going to lose control. It's going to get on places where I don't want it. And then my pocket's not going to open properly. So bear with me while I look for, I know I have it somewhere close by because I just got it. Here it is. Double-sided tape, and it's like 1/4 inch, so it's really thin. It's about the same width as my little tabs here. Don't need this anymore. Ah, it's very, very sticky. I don't need it to be perfect. I just want to be able to get that tab down, right? I want to make sure it really stuck on there. Let's do this one. I think it's going to thunderstorm tonight. I can hear thunder. I mean, I think we're going to have a rainstorm because I can hear it thundering out there. I really want to make sure that's stuck down really well. And then I do want to put something on the bottom here. Right, I'm going to want that, if it's a pocket, I need that bottom to be stuck on too. If I didn't have that butterfly, I would have also turned that bottom over, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to run this along this bottom edge. Whoops. Whoops-a-doodle. I'm trying to get the excess glue off of my fingers so that we can finish this up. Okay, now I sometimes need to use my tweezers because I can't grab onto that real well with my fingers. That's going to hold that down, that little tabby. And then oh, it's incredibly sticky, this stuff. I don't think I'm going to do any more embellishments. I usually do add some embellishments to these books, but this one is so gorgeous by itself that I think I'm just going to leave it at this pocket in the back. I don't want it to extend beyond the paper. I'm going to stick that there, and now we have this sweet little pocket that we could take some extra papers, a little note, a tag, and stick it in there. Oh my gosh, I'm thrilled with this, you guys. I wonder what you think. I would love to know. If you're catching the replay also, please let me know what you think. It was a real pleasure, really fun to put it together, but a real pleasure to do it with you all. So thank you for being here while we created this little beauty. Oh, please tell me I put that on the right side. Oh, yes, I did. Phew, I was going to say, please Please tell me I didn't do it upside down. All right, you guys, go make something pretty that brings your heart joy. Thanks for being here. Let me know if you're catching the replay. Watch out for the live auction. Thanks, Kathy. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys like it. Yeah, watch out for the live auction. This will be auctioned off as something that somebody can use either like as a keepsake for pictures and art journal, like written notes. You could use it as an art journal if you wanted to. So many uses. You guys have a beautiful, blessed night. I'll catch you later. It's Tuesday, so I'll probably be live at some point tomorrow. Just stay on the texting service. You'll watch for that, and I'll be in touch with you soon. Take care. Good night.